All right, thanks for coming, everyone. My name is Amanda Hammett. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I work in international academic programs, and IAP is the largest study abroad office on our campus. My role is to work with engineering students and STEM majors as well. I worked in the College of Engineering, managing programs for engineering students for over a decade, and transitioned into a new role, but part of my job does focus on developing opportunities and sharing information for STEM and engineering students. So today's session is specifically for engineering students who are interested in going abroad. Some of you may be here for the engaged credit, and they've asked you to check in. It counts towards the academic success area. So I'll have this slide at the end as well with a QR code, and you can scan that if you need to get credit for coming to this session today. We're going to start off giving kind of an overview of study abroad and study abroad specifically for engineering students. And at the end, I will be joined by Abby Larson, who is a student engagement coordinator who works in our office. And she's a chemical and biological engineering student and studied abroad. And she's going to talk a little bit about her experience, and so to give you kind of a hands-on insight into what it's like studying abroad as an engineering student. So to start us off, I wanted to give you an overview of study abroad at UW-Madison. Across our campus, we have several different offices that focus on study abroad. IAP is the largest study abroad office on our campus. It's located on the 3rd floor of the Red Gym. And while it has mostly programs that are targeting kind of letters and science, social science, humanities majors, it does have programs that work for students from across campus, really probably any major on campus and at really any academic level. So you can go abroad before you actually start on campus in Madison, and you can go abroad to do PhD and graduate level research as well through programs that are offered through IAP. The College of Agricultural and Life Sciences also has a dedicated study abroad office and team, and they are located in 116 Agricultural Hall. They do have some options for engineering students that work well, so I want to highlight those options as well. The College of Engineering, that's really I'm one member of that team, and I spend some of my time in the Red Gym and then some time in Engineering Hall. So there are a couple of study abroad advisors who work on engineering programs, and then some enrollment managers as well. And then the Wisconsin School of Business also has a dedicated study abroad office and team, and they're located in Granger Hall. And I know that some engineering students go through the School of Business, especially if they've got a certificate or industrial engineering majors. Those tend to work well for those degrees as well. So across all of our offices, we have about 250 or more programs in 65 countries on 6 continents. We haven't quite made that 7th yet. And across the board, there are about 50 programs that work for engineering students. I also want to take a minute to just highlight the icons that are there, the red globe for IAP, the leaves or the plant for CALS. Those are indicators of where a program's kind of home location is. So if you see a program that has the orange gears, then that's a College of Engineering program, and it has kind of different rules. Or the plants, that's College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. So if you're meeting with someone who manages a plant program, then you would go to 116 Agricultural Hall. So you'll see those throughout our program web pages. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of studying abroad. Sometimes people or engineering students have some kind of questions as to whether or not they could benefit from an international experience. And we really strongly recommend, obviously, that students do study abroad. But we also have three, what we call kind of pillars of the study abroad experience. There's the academic pillar and the professional, and then personal development as well. So thinking about your goals in each of these areas can help figure out a good program fit for you. And they may also be kind of a point of conversation to get that conversation started about how to decide what program might work for you or what you're looking for in a study abroad experience. I will say that for most engineering students, academic credit tends to be the largest determining factor in that decision. So engineering students will most of the time choose a program that works for them academically, allows them to take courses that fulfill degree requirements, and continues to have them make progress towards their degree. So not always, but that does tend to be more of kind of a scenario than it does for students in other majors. When you go on a UW-Madison program, you do earn in residence credits for courses taken abroad, and you do have the option to take programs and courses that will help you make credits towards your degree. As engineering students, we would like to see you stay on track academically, and that does require some research in terms of programs that will be a good academic fit, but there are programs for which you are eligible that you can participate on that may open your eyes to other opportunities or fulfill degree requirements for a second major or a certificate as well, or give you some skills in a different area that you were hoping to develop. So all things to kind of keep in mind as you're looking at the opportunities. One difference I do want to highlight is the grading process for engineering programs. So those are the ones with the orange gears, and the other programs that are offered through study abroad at UW-Madison. So on engineering programs, College of Engineering students are granted pass-fail grades for any course they take abroad, unless it fulfills degree requirements for a non-engineering major or certificate. So I'm not going to repeat it again, but I will give you kind of an example. If you are a mechanical engineering student and you go abroad on an orange gear or an ENGR program, and you are only a mechanical engineering major, any course you take will be posted to your UW record as a pass-fail or with pass-fail grades. If you are a mechanical engineering student and you have a math double major and you go on an ENGR program, if you take a course that fulfills degree requirements for that math major, then that course or courses will be posted with letter grades, and all of your other courses would be posted as pass-fail grades. If, as a College of Engineering student, you participate on an IAP, CALS, or School of Business program, then those courses are all graded with letter grades, just like they would be here through. So it's our A through F system. When you're abroad on our program, on any of our programs, you do stay continuously enrolled, so you maintain your student status at UW-Madison. It maintains your place in the queue for enrollment and for housing and things like that. We know that many engineering students have maybe some reticence at learning languages. So the majority of our programs that are open to engineering students or that offer engineering courses are in English. And so you have a number of opportunities to choose from. Another point I really wanted to highlight is that if you are hoping to go abroad, my recommendation is to save as many of your engineering elective courses and plan to take those abroad. It makes it a lot easier for you to choose a program and for you to take and choose courses on that program if you have that extra flexibility of having those elective courses to fulfill requirements. So just also to highlight, every engineering degree does have a certain number of engineering elective courses and credits that you need to take. And you can see those, they do vary pretty significantly from major to major, but you can see those in your DARS. And this also gives you an opportunity to take some really unique courses. A couple examples that I often use are, we have a couple programs that offer courses on yacht design. So if any of you has ever thought about designing yachts, studying abroad would give you that opportunity to do so. We also have programs on which you can learn how to develop solar panels or wind turbines. And those are fantastic opportunities that we don't have at UW-Madison. And if you take a course like that, it would equate back to an engineering elective, fulfill degree requirements, and have the added value of standing out on your resume if you choose to highlight it, which I would strongly recommend. So hang on to as many of your elective courses, engineering elective courses, as you can, and plan to take those abroad. I also wanted to make sure that you are aware of the fact that we have a certificate in international engineering at UW-Madison. This is a way to demonstrate to employers that you have kind of an extra academic interest in international issues. You have experience in different cultures and environments, and these are all valuable traits for employers. I'm not going to read through the requirements. The information is online, but I am the advisor for this certificate. I'm happy to meet with students individually, kind of walk through where they stand currently with certificate requirements, how it works, and kind of the options for completing this certificate. But it's a great way to add value to your study abroad experience and add value to yourself as you're looking at the professional work opportunities that you would have after graduation. I often get questions about, are there certain engineering majors that can study abroad and when they study abroad? And we do want to make sure that all of you know that as engineering students, any major can study abroad. It may happen at different points in the process. You may have more or less flexibility than your roommate or someone else in your class or your friend group. But there are opportunities for every engineering major. We encourage you to be flexible and approach the study abroad puzzle, keeping flexibility in mind, because there may not be a program that fits all of your criteria, but hopefully we can find a program that does match a lot of those and make it work for you and valuable academically as well. We have what are called our major advising pages, and so you see that listed there as maps. And there's a link later on in the presentation, or you can just search for major advising pages. But we have one for each engineering major, and it's a great resource to look at and figure out if you're, a particular major, what you need to know academically about studying abroad within that degree, when it typically works best for you to study abroad, and then the programs that offer courses that have already been equated to that major so that you can choose a program that will benefit you academically. Most engineering majors it does work best for you to study abroad in your third year. So, but that's not the case for all majors. And some of the smaller majors, it actually works best to study abroad kind of second semester, sophomore year. But please do look at the major advising pages for more details, and we're also happy to kind of walk you through those things and help you out as well. I mentioned that there are some unique rules for the ENGR programs. One is the grading and how that's different, and another is for ENGR programs, you also need to have met progression before you can apply to study abroad. And my recommendation would actually be to meet progression before you apply to study abroad in any program, because there are specific requirements that you need to fulfill here in the College of Engineering in order to meet progression, and we don't want your study abroad to interfere with you meeting progression. So unless that's like a summer program, and that would be, you know, beneficial and just kind of add to your degree and probably likely happen after you've met progression anyway. The one exception that we have is our China summer program, which has been on ice since summer of 2020. But that is the one program that you are able to apply for without having met progression. But just want to make sure people are clear on that as well. College of Engineering also has another rule that says you do need to be in Madison for your last 2 full-time semesters before you graduate. So typically students would go abroad their 3rd year or before, but if for whatever reason you can't make that happen, then there is a waiver process that you can submit. You start that with a study abroad advisor in our office, and you're basically asking if you can study abroad your 2nd to last semester and have to get permission to do so. As engineering students, you cannot you cannot graduate abroad. You must be in Madison for your last term. So here are the major advising pages. This is how you get to them. These again are great resources for you to be able to find additional information that's specific to your major and how study abroad can fit into that major. There is one for each engineering major. We update it as information changes and as programs are added or subtracted. So I encourage you to look at the major advising pages. In addition to other experiences, study abroad can really help you build interpersonal and technical skills that employers are looking for. Those include things like language proficiency, field work, research, design experiences, new perspectives, flexibility, adaptability, communication, team building, communication with folks who are from different backgrounds and different experiences, figuring out navigating systems, new academic systems, transportation systems, the way to rent an apartment, problem solving, all that kind of stuff. So those are things that employers really think add value and really do stand out to employers. So, you know, we encourage you to kind of think about that as you're planning to study abroad or as you are in that experience, and can bring back some of those experiences to interviews or to add to graduate school applications, things like that, because it is a unique opportunity for engineering undergrads. Only about 6% of US-based engineering undergraduates do study abroad. So if you do, you really do stand out among your peers. We'd also suggest that you add study abroad to your resume, because it does stand out, or it helps you stand out. And the Career Services, Engineering Career Services job guide does have a template that they suggest on how to add study abroad to your engineering resume. So I would really recommend looking at that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how to narrow down your program options. A lot of students will come in and they say, I want to go to London and try to find a program that works for them in London. And while location is an important factor in that process, there are other things that I would strongly recommend that you do consider as you're exploring what options are available to you. So I mentioned earlier that academics is a big factor, especially for engineering and STEM students. You're looking for a program that offers courses that will work for you academically. And that tends to be the kind of the way people end up on the programs that they do. But again, that just underscores the fact that we would encourage you to be flexible as you're looking at options and not going to come in with your mind set on a particular country or location or program. Abby will talk about her experience a little bit more, and hopefully that will help some of you kind of realize that there are other options available. Other things that you may want to consider are the duration. Many students go abroad in the spring semester. Probably about 2/3 or 3/4 of our students go abroad in the spring semester versus the fall semester. That means that spring programs can be quite a bit more competitive in the spring compared to the fall. So if you do have that flexibility of going in the fall, that may be a really good option, and it might provide you with some additional opportunities. Looking at, I mean, some people do want to think about the housing or the program type, or the structure, if they're going to take local classes, if they're going to be in a program center where they're taking courses with other US students. Local support levels are different on different programs. And so depending on your level of comfort being in a particular country or on abroad in general, you may want to kind of think about that as well. Something else I want to highlight for engineering students or STEM students more kind of vividly is the fact that many calendars abroad are very different from US calendars. And so this is something that does come into play for engineering students, because many of you will be doing a summer internship or a co-op experience, especially that summer. That's the most common to study abroad. So after your 3rd year, before your 4th year, because having a summer internship that year can really be a huge factor in your professional journey at getting a full-time offer. So there are many programs that have different calendars, and some that may go into July or August. So that's something that that you may really want to pay attention to as you're looking at program options. So location is a factor. It may not be the factor that many students feel like it might be kind of the factor, but it is one, definitely. Just kind of an overview of our program pages. These are all designed in the same way. So on the right of the program page is all the eligibility information and the languages that the courses are in, the calendar, and other kind of overview information. Deadlines are there as well, which is obviously important and something to pay attention to. At the bottom, we have various tabs, and in Life Abroad, you can find out more details about housing, logistics. You can talk about or read about visas and other information. Cost and funding is where you can find our program cost sheets. And this includes the fee that comes to our office, as well as estimated additional expenses. So out-of-pocket expenses that we estimate you would be paying for a particular program. Student Voices is where you can connect with students who participated on the program in the past and see some photos or videos or blogs, things like that. And then on the contact tab is where you can connect with our staff in the office to see who it is you want to meet with, depending on what you're wanting to discuss and what program you're looking at. So One, a big question we talk about quite a bit is how much does it cost to study abroad? Or, is study abroad too expensive for me to even consider? And our programs do vary in cost depending on a number of factors. It varies by program type, the duration, the location, what all is included. So sometimes housing is included, sometimes excursions are included. And your residency can also factor into the cost of the program. So if you're a Wisconsin resident on some programs, it's going to be cheaper than it would be for the same program for a student who's from out of state, because it's based on UW-Madison tuition, for example. Others are based on the cost of tuition at the host university, so your residency does not factor into the cost. So while some programs do cost more than studying abroad on campus, others cost the same or even less. And so you'll want to look at the individual program pages to determine the cost of the programs that you're considering. And we also offer or have available a budget worksheet, which is a great resource and allows you to compare the cost of studying at UW-Madison to the cost of one program you're considering, or a second or third program that you're considering. So you can see side-by-side comparison on how those costs are laid out. Financial aid can often be used to pay the program fee in the same way that it can be used for tuition. So for this reason, we strongly recommend that you apply for federal financial aid by completing a FAFSA application, even if you've been denied in the past. In addition to financial aid, we also have a wide range of merit and need-based scholarships available to students studying abroad. And these are listed through the WISH Scholarship Hub and also on program web pages. STEM students are among our strategic priorities here in our office. And so STEM students who apply to scholarships do kind of get an extra consideration for being a STEM major. We also have free passport photos for UW-Madison students, faculty, and staff. This is for students who are applying, or folks who are applying for passports or visas, and you can make an appointment online. We also have a pre-departure loan program, which helps pay for some of the upfront fees. If that is a barrier, we don't want that to be a barrier. And then this loan is interest-free, and it's built once your financial aid is released. And so you don't have, that barrier, that burden, if you're not able to pay some of those pre-departure fees. We also have funding information sessions and financial aid drop-in advising. So those are great resources that you can take advantage of. Some of the funding sessions are online, so you can do that in your pajamas or from the College of Engineering. And then the financial aid advising, it's to meet one-on-one with a financial aid advisor who's familiar with study abroad and how it works, and they can help you walk through what your financial aid package would look like if you're considering program A or program B, and things like that. So, all right. So just to kind of walk through some of the next steps that you may want to consider. Think about some of your academic, professional, personal goals, and those may help you kind of figure out what programs might be a good fit for you, or what types of programs you're looking at. I would strongly, again, direct you to the major advising pages or any of the other tools on how to kind of think through and narrow down your program options. You may want to meet with a study abroad advisor to help you determine which programs may meet your goals. Remember to talk with your academic advisor. Let them know that you're planning to study abroad. I recommend bringing it up when you're meeting with them every semester, every year, as you talk through your academic plan. Just so they're reminded that your plans could alter a bit given your plans to study abroad. We have some resources online for parents and families, so that's a good resource as well. Think about your budget and make sure to apply for scholarships and look at funding and gather information now. Attend one of our funding study abroad sessions if you're interested and more information. And if you're interested, if you don't know anyone who's studied abroad on a particular program, I know a lot of times there's word of mouth and engineering hallways on who studied abroad where. And but if you don't know of someone or you're interested in a particular program, don't forget that student voices section on the program page is a great resource for information and offers you the opportunity to connect with students who did that program. Take a look at your passport and make sure you know when it expires if you have one, or if you're considering studying abroad. If you don't have a passport, that would be your first step. And we don't want to have to recommend that you put your study abroad plans on hold because you don't have a passport that's valid. So most passports do need to be valid for a full year after the end of your program. So if you're going abroad in spring 2026, for example, then your passport would have to be valid through summer 2027, most likely. So think about that as you're considering your options as well. And then think about and apply for a particular program. Again, many programs are competitive and this is growing. It's becoming more of an issue than it has been in the past. We have a lot more students studying abroad than we have before. And, you know, we're not able to necessarily expand the number of spots that we have available on all of our programs, especially if it's a first choice program. For you, have a backup choice in mind, explore that option so that if you do need to pivot, you've got something in the works and you can just kind of pull that out and apply that to your situation at the last minute. Applications are typically due the semester before you'd study abroad, and they typically open about 4 to 6 months before the deadline. So you've got a lot of time to think about programs, explore them, submit an application, and get ready to participate. All right. So if you've got questions, please put them in the Q&A if you haven't done so already. We're going to transition a little bit to Abby, who's going to talk about her experience. And then again, the Be Engaged QR code is there. So if you haven't done that and you do want to get credit for coming today, please don't forget to scan that. And then if you do want to be made aware of upcoming events for study abroad and things that are happening on campus outside of the College of Engineering, then there's a second QR code and you can be added to our study abroad mailing list, and we'll let you know. We don't overwhelm you, but we do keep you informed of the study abroad opportunities and events and activities that are happening on our campus. So, all right. I'm going to mute and let Abby take over for the next few minutes, and then I'll circle back to answer questions.
Perfect. Oh, I can change the slides. Awesome. All right. As Amanda mentioned, my name is Abby Larson. I work as an engagement intern at the IAP office. So if you come into our office, there's a chance that I will be the one at the front desk. Or if you call us or give us an email, I could be the one replying. So I'm here to talk about my study abroad experience as an engineer. So I am in my final semester studying chemical engineering with certificates in international engineering and biology and engineering. I'm originally from Plymouth, Minnesota, and I spent my the spring semester of my third year in Limerick, Ireland at the University of Limerick. I was able to take engineering courses and continue towards my degree while I was there, which was really a great opportunity. I chose to study abroad with my engineering degree and pair it with that because it really offers a global perspective, and it really gave me the opportunity to see how other people learn engineering, how other programs work, as well as just to have the opportunity to live somewhere new. There aren't a lot of instances in your life where you will have such a supported way to live in a new location thousands of miles away from home. And as someone who's lived in the Midwest my entire life, I really wanted to take that opportunity while I was in university. Also, that's my email if you have questions that you'd like to reach out to me directly about. Otherwise, you can reach out to the study abroad office and they can help you get connected with me as well. So while I was studying abroad, like I said, I was at the University of Limerick. It's a direct enroll program. So what that means is I was enrolled directly into classes at the University of Limerick, studying with local students, taking classes with local Irish students, as well as other study abroad students from all over the world. There were both US students and students from all over Europe, specifically taking these classes as well. Um, all of my professors were local Irish professors, which was very fun to and interesting to see how teaching styles differed, although it was relatively similar to our classes here in lecturing style. However, some of those assignments and exam structures were a little different. Additionally, I lived in the dorms there, although they are not dorms like we think of them. I had my own room and then I had my own bathroom for the first time in my entire life, which was very cool, but also interesting when you think about it as a dorm. While I was there, I was able to take courses towards my degree and certificate. So I took stats and biochemistry, which both counted towards my major requirements. And then I took an Irish history and an Irish folklore class, which counted towards my certificate in international engineering. Additionally, while I was there, I had a lot of opportunities to learn about a new culture that I knew very little about going in, which was both in the classroom through my Irish history and folklore classes, as well as by getting to visit different parts of Ireland while I was there. So you are here, so it means you are thinking about studying abroad. But here's just some reasons on why I think students should study abroad, especially as someone who has already been abroad. It does make you a really unique candidate for job opportunities. Um, since returning from my study abroad experience, I've spoken about every single one, or I've spoken about study abroad in every single one of my interviews and at tablings at career fairs. It's a great way to break the ice at tabling, as well as really connect and stand out with the recruiters with a different experience. In a lot of those instances, I didn't bring it up, or I brought it up in my summary of and walkthrough of my resume, but the recruiter or the person who was interviewing me asked me more about my experience. Um, you also get to take, like Amanda said, take core engineering courses or electives that aren't offered here. So you can really expand your degree in a new way. It's also a great way to meet new people. I went on my program knowing no one, which can sound really scary, but it was amazing. And I still talk to a lot of my friends 2 years later, which I wouldn't have met them if I hadn't gone abroad. So it's a great way to meet new people as well as get out of your comfort zone. I like to joke that you're kind of putting yourself back into a freshman year experience, which sounds silly, but it can really help you get out of your comfort zone and grow as a person. So just some things I think people should engineers specifically should consider when they are planning to go abroad. Remember that you can take core engineering courses, engineering electives, and non-engineering courses abroad. There's a lot of options, but it does take a little extra planning as an engineer. It's also important to remember that your courses may look a little different. For example, my statistics course had none of the assignments other than exams were graded. So we had homework opportunities, but it was very much self-initiative to do those assignments and stay on track for your exams. We did have midterms, however, only the midterms and the final exam counted towards your grade. So you're not getting graded on homeworks. So it did take a little extra motivation to make sure that I was completing those homeworks and staying on track to take those midterms. But it's totally doable. Other recommendations, like Amanda said, talk to your academic advisors. I think that one of the reasons I was able to be so successful in studying abroad is because I was talking to my academic advisors and making sure they knew that I wanted to go abroad and were able to support me in that. It does take advanced planning. You're going to have to do a little extra research to make sure that you can meet your goals, especially if one of your goals is to stay on track for graduation. And with that, being open to programs you didn't originally consider is super important. My experience with that is I had my heart set on studying abroad in Spain. Clearly, I did not study abroad in Spain. I really wanted to use my Spanish skills, and I had a program all picked out. I wrote about it in my UW or YUW application essay, all of those things. But things happen in the world that can prevent you from going to a program you pick out 2 to 3 years in advance. For me, it was a global pandemic due to the nature of it being an exchange program. UW couldn't send students over to the program in Spain that I was really excited to go on, but I didn't let that stop me, and I reevaluated my program options. Came in, spoke with Amanda specifically, but now it'll likely be someone else. But and was able to talk through a couple program options and calibrate what my goals were to find the program that was the best fit for me, to go abroad and have a really enriching experience that has only added to my degree and my life experiences. So having those backup plans and keeping an open mind is super important when looking at going abroad as an engineer. Um, Also, I just want to reiterate finding the best program for you. If you have friends who are also looking to go abroad, but they're a different major or they have different goals, they might not align. And there's opportunities to potentially visit them if you're both abroad at the same time, over school breaks or holidays. But making sure that you find the program that works best for you is really important because it can have impact on your graduation date or the classes that you can take and just your experience in general. But yes, that is the end of my section of the presentation. I think Amanda's going to come back for questions, but feel free to ask me questions as well.
Great. Thanks, Abby. I'm gonna put this QR code up again, or both of them. Feel free to throw questions in the Q&A. I do see one about nuclear engineering, study abroad or internship opportunities. Nuclear is one of the smaller majors that I kind of referred to earlier on when I talked, and it can be challenging to study abroad as a nuclear engineering major. Typically, it would work best in second year because you've got more kind of general courses that would work and be we could help you find those abroad. It is challenging. Another option would be to consider a summer program or a short-term program. We also have winter break, spring break programs, not for engineering specifically, but just so that you can have an international experience of any kind. We're also working all the time on developing new program opportunities, and nuclear engineering is definitely on my radar. We lost a few programs years ago that did offer some really good options. And so I'm hoping that we can bring some options back on for nuclear and some of the other majors. I am not sure about internships for nuclear engineering majors, but we do have an international internship team. And they are also located on the 3rd floor of the Red Gym, and they are happy to connect with folks to answer questions about international internship opportunities. I know that they are also working quite a bit on developing new opportunities, and they do have internship and co-op opportunities for engineering students. The majority of them for engineering students are in Germany and Japan, I believe at this point, but again, they do have others as well. So reach out to the international internship team if you're interested in any international internships, and they can help you out as well. I see another question. What are the most important parts of the application that we look at when applying to study abroad? And we do have information on our website about applying to study abroad and what it means to apply for a competitive program and how to make your application as competitive as possible. So you can read more there, but in general strokes, I can say that we do look at GPA. We look at your class standing. So if you've completed 1 credit towards your degree versus 75 credits towards your degree, if everything else is equal, the person who's completed 75 credits towards their graduation would have priority because they're going to have fewer opportunities to study abroad since they're going to be on campus, or a UW-Madison student for a shorter period of time compared to the student who's completed 1 credit towards their graduation requirements. We also look at academic fit in some cases. So, if it's a competitive program and there aren't courses towards your degree and you haven't explained that in your application materials, then that could be a factor as well. We do spend a good amount of time and put quite a bit of heavy weight on the essay. So take time to write a strong essay. We want to know why you've identified this program as the best fit for you, why this country, why this city, why the program, what courses you plan to take. We really aren't impressed by the fact that, Madrid or Frankfurt is a central city for travel around the rest of Europe. That's going to probably deter from your application. So spend some time thinking about why you've chosen this particular program and what benefits you can gain. And I would say talk to that in your application materials. So any other questions that we can answer? Any questions for Abby? Feel free to throw them in the chat. I mentioned I'm the advisor for the certificate in international engineering. So if you want to talk about that in more depth, I'm on Starfish. You can just look me up and set up an appointment. So that's, and otherwise you'll see me probably at College of Engineering events and things here on this end of campus. But otherwise, thanks for coming, and we hope that you have got a few good nuggets out of our information today, and have a great weekend.